everybody. Welcome back to the Christian channel. Today I'm here with Trevor Rothaus. He is a great new Catholic animator that has come out with a YouTube channel. I want to make a proper introduction to Trevor. Trevor, welcome to the Christian channel. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. For me, I'm from Orange County, California. Grew up there, went to Boston for school for software, then came right back to California. It's a little too cold out there for me. But it was when I was working in software, I also started helping as a catechist at Christ Cathedral. I was working with teens. And I know people don't know much about the Catholic faith, but I was surprised at how much wasn't known. Like they knew almost nothing. Like you're starting from zero. So I wanted to meet kids where they're at. So with a lot of kids today, they're all over screens, devices, internet, streaming services. They're online. So to meet kids where they're at, I wanted to make Catholic animations. And so even though I was teaching teens, I wanted to make animations for younger kids. I wanted to teach these core concepts to younger kids. So by the time they got to be a teenager, they already had a strong foundation. And the starting point was with prayer. I really wanted to start with prayer because of the power of prayer in so many different ways. And one of those ways is with the overlap with child development and prayer and helping kids grow in the virtues. So different saints talk about this. Different saints talk about how prayer can transform you. And I was reflecting a little bit more on this to try to dig in and see how and specifically which ways. And so I was looking at the virtues. And so, for example, with gratitude, say you want a kid to grow in gratitude, be grateful, not an ungrateful kid, but you want them to be grateful. You could start with the prayer before meals, have them say thank you to God for the food that's right before them. And you can expand that from there. What else are they grateful for? And you could add on to that to help them grow in gratitude. Because if you want someone to grow in virtue, it's not something you do one time, it's not something you tell them about one time. It has to be a habit that you build up. And with prayer, you can do that. You can build up that habit over time. Another example would be humility. Like you want a kid to grow in humility, to be a little more humble. Uh, you can look to the act of contrition prayer. And in that prayer, you apologize to God for the sins that you've committed, and you commit to leading a better life. And that's actually the next animation we're working on, and we're about to fundraise for is for that act of contrition prayer to help kids grow in humility. I may have gone a little off topic, basically how I got my start and why I'm creating the animations that I am. And it's not just me, it's a whole we have a whole team of people, very talented animator, illustrator, screenwriter. We're turning the prayers into music as well to make it even more enjoyable to watch and to listen to. And the composers, Nick and Alina, are super talented.
Yeah, you have such a wonderful team of people, and you could tell when you watch these episodes, these clips that are free on YouTube for now, that the quality is as far as Catholic content goes. I mean, it is up there, in my opinion, in the Nickelodeon, atmosphere as far as quality. So that's why I'm so glad you're on. And also humility. I wanted to just add on that, like as a parent, that's one thing that we tend to overlook when we're at work. When we're with our kids and we're actually learning with our kids. Oh, I didn't know I could pray a prayer about humility. Like, so it's just adds on because you're right, Trevor. Like a lot of us say that we're Catholic, but there's so much richness in our faith, especially in prayer. For households that don't pray the rosary every day, or they don't pray the binding prayers in the morning. Like this is so rich just for them. It's just the first step, right, to getting involved in their Catholic faith. So I'm so glad we have somebody like
So
you producing these. So is that something that your ministry has to do? Is you actively have to crowdfund per episode?
yeah, with the first few we got lucky with private donations. With the next ones coming up, I want to try out crowdfunding to see how that goes, because animations are expensive. I'm sure you know, being in the film industry, films get expensive. I was trying to see how much others are. So like popular Hollywood movies, I think they're like 100 million plus per movie to produce. Popular TV shows, it was like 1 million or more plus per episode. And so the total cost of production is expensive for us for these animations. Our simple one on the Hail Mary was about 10,000 to produce, and these new ones is about 30, 40,000 to produce. It gets I saw the look on your face. Yeah,
Wow.
it
Yeah.
gets expensive because once you pay for the screenwriting, someone to illustrate the backgrounds, the characters, you have people that take the time to rig all of those characters, then to animate all of them. Then you have composers who create the music, pay for the singers to sing the music. Then you have the someone to do the final mix, recording. It's a lot of different people that get involved, even on the smaller side, the smaller scale
Yeah, that
animations.
yeah, that leads to my next question. What are the biggest challenges you face as a creator and producer to bring these projects to light? Like, how do you tackle
Yeah,
that?
yeah. My background is software, base level engineer. I wasn't a supervisor, project manager, anything like that. But the companies I worked at were more startup or active, either like the first one I started at was 150 people, so not a startup stage, but still acted like a startup in how they operated. So you wore a lot of different hats in what you did. So we had to pick up a lot of different things, and you had to be able to manage everything well. And most people did. The company grew from 150 to 400, and then went from private to public. Uh, and the next company I worked at was 20 people, way smaller. So a similar thing, you're taking on a lot of different hats. So I think from those experiences, um, I, taking things that I learned from those and putting it into the projects I'm working at now, because some people think it's similar, where you did, oh, you did software, and now you're doing animation. It goes together. No, no, these are two very different things, two very different things. Um, yeah, animation takes uh, a lot of artistic skill, artistic talent. Uh, you can't really code a really good animation, as far as I know right now. But yeah, that's where I'm lucky to have found a good team of people. And this started during COVID, so the whole team is all over the map. The screenwriters here in California, the music is all done up in Ohio, the animations in Mexico City. We have one guy help with he did the 3D design for the treehouse. He's over in Italy. The reason we went with 3D design was because we wanted to do a few different angles, and we could either have each angle drawn, the whole background drawn, or have a 3D model, and then just have that one model to reuse for all the future animations. So we opted for the 3D on that one.
Oh, that was very smart. And we'll be sharing clips of your work because you do see a progression of your work. When you look at your YouTube channel and you watch the Hail Mary video, and then when you look at your new content with Saint Michael the Archangel, it's like, in my opinion, night and day. You're doing such a spectacular job. Why don't you share with us, if you there wasn't a budget, what animation movie would you tackle, Trevor?
If like wide open, I could do anything. Um, To be honest, continuing down this path of prayer, because one of the things that I haven't done and I've been putting off is the Our Father, because that's a really big one, and I would want to take my time and have a I guess enough practice, you could say, with doing previous ones to do that one, and then from there the Mass, because the Mass is the highest form of prayer. So, unlimited budget, I would do something on the Mass for kids that really takes you deep, step by step, through the Mass, through what's happening at the Mass. There's one online on YouTube, The Mass Unveiled. They did a beautiful job. It's a short one, but it's well done. Unlimited budget, I would really want to like dive in depth of what's going on and do it in a way that's understandable for kids and take them along this journey of the Mass, of the sacrifice at Calvary, and you could tie it back in through Scripture, through what happened throughout all Scripture into the Mass.
Wow, that is so beautiful. That sounds like a great movie to watch. Also, you could tie it in with the Old Testament too, with Abraham,
Hmm.
and the altar. It's like kind of simplifying the Mass for children to understand. With because the Jewish roots of I mean, the Catholic faith is entwined with our Jewish roots. So that is beautiful. And then also the 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 Eucharist being the highlight of the Mass, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it goes all the way through. So you could go all the way back to Genesis, even in the Garden of Eden, because in Mass, we're stepping into the presence of God again. It's almost like we're re-entering that garden again. And that's why a lot of churches, from what I've heard, from what I understand, that's why a lot of churches will have plants as part of it, and or plant imagery as well to bring you back into that garden, bring you back into that presence of God once again. And from Genesis all the way to Revelation, Revelation's the unveiling, right? The end, where the church meets with God, and that's exactly what we're doing in the Mass.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I mean, this is your ministry. Your ministry is not mostly focused on the movie making process, but actually educating children on prayers and the Mass and really getting involved in our Catholic faith. Because Fulton Sheen says we have a few clips of Fulton Sheen on the Christian channel. The reason why the Mass, and I'm totally butchering what he said, but the reason why the Mass is so boring is because we bring nothing to it.
Hmm.
I mean, just imagine, we've been the masses where children are misbehaving and their moms are pinching them saying, "Hey, don't do that. Here's some crayons of some saint books." But I think what you're doing is really getting children involved, to participate in our faith. And that's our future generation. I know a lot of Catholic parishes want to invest into the next generation of Catholics. So I think this is an opportunity to invest in your production. And I apologize. What is the name of your production and where can people find you?
So it's called Catholic Stories for Children. That's the name of the company, the nonprofit. It's a 501(c)(3), 50 Catholic Stories for Children. The website is catholicstoriesforchildren.com. And like you mentioned before, all the animations are free. Anyone could see the animations at catholicstoriesforchildren.com. And we also included activities on there for them as well. Um, so that way, after watching an animation, a kid could go through activities on that animation to help further instill learning about that prayer, about who they're praying to. Um, yeah, and also on the website, you'll find our future animation as well on the Act of Contrition. That's the one which we'll be um, crowdfunding for, or depending on
Okay.
when you're watching, that we are currently crowdfunding for or are finished crowdfunding for. I guess it depends when you watch the video.
And how long are these videos that we're crowdfunding?
So the current animations, the first one, the Hail Mary, was about 3 minutes long. These next two, which is part of the new series, where it's two kids in a treehouse and their guardian angels come in and teach them the prayers. Those first two are about 5 minutes each. the act of contrition, I really want to push more so I could get more into it and get that. I want that one to be a 10-minute animation. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes with fundraising.
Awesome. Well, how much are you currently raising for the act of contrition?
It's around 40,000 for that one. Going back to the greatest challenge that we have, I think you brought that up before. I don't know if I answered it. The greatest challenge we have is reach, like reaching people, because we've been able to get to a number of different parents, teachers, catechists, homeschool groups, and they love the animations. The catechists love it because it's actually teaching parts of the faith. The parents and kids love it because it's enjoyable to watch. And the kids will ask after watching like they're used to 30-minute animations maybe, and then they see a 5-minute animation, they're like, okay, where's the next one? Where's the next one? So I wanna be able to give them the next animation. And so with reach, like if we could reach more people with these animations, that's more families that we can help learn the power of prayer, learn about the prayers, more families that we can help their kids grow in love of Christ, in love of our Catholic faith.
That is wonderful. So the link is going to be below, and anyone who's listening to this and wants to watch these free children's Catholic stories, you could watch them in the link below. And Trevor, thank you so much for coming on the Christian channel. And if you want to crowdfund Trevor's next work, all you have to do is go on the link and click crowdfund. So be on the watch out for that. Sign up for his email list, and God bless you, Trevor. I'm really looking forward to watching your future animations. So this has been such a pleasure.
Thank you, and thanks again for having me.
You're the best. Take care, everybody.